Hello everyone, welcome back to Radio Free QuickBooks television, love saying the whole word. My name is Woody Adams, I'm a product specialist in Intuit, dealing mostly with QuickBooks, and we're based in Plano, Texas, of course, Studio 18C in the Building C. And love to have you on. Today we're going to be talking about one of the key pieces of expanding your practice, best practices, and Don and Stacy are going to weigh in heavily on this because their practices have expanded greatly over the last year to two, so this is perfect examples. So let's bring in Don and Stacy, co-hosts, co-founders, Radio Free QuickBooks, Stacy Kildal, Don Brolin. Stacy, how's it going today?
It's going great.
And you are?
Fabulous.
Okay.
How are you?
No, doing great. Doing great. As you notice, I actually bought another coat. I had the black one for years, and I just needed a second one just to. So I went to local thrift shop and got it.
Nice
It's not
with your
bad.
hair color.
I like
To be
it.
honest with it.
With the
In your
t-shirt,
eyes.
got the
Looks nice.
Radio Free TV.
Like it?
Very good.
Yeah.
So thanks for asking. Love doing the television. We're having a lot of fun. The Radio Free QuickBooks. And by the way, thanks for listening to the show, you guys, on the radio. We appreciate the podcast. We've had 162,000 listens in the last 6 months. 6 months. So thank you for that. Hopefully it's helpful. But today, engagement letters. And Don, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm good. That's fine. I'm perfect. Absolutely perfect. I got my hair all did. Got my hair did.
Oh,
Got
yeah.
my hair and my makeup did.
Hey, you look younger.
So I do?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for saying that.
Younger. Very nice.
That's awesome. Wow. So I guess I'm doing even better now.
Yeah. So how was the limo ride over from the hotel?
It was good.
It was great.
Get there on time?
Nice and smooth.
Yep.
Smooth. The limo driver knew exactly where he was going.
Yeah.
It was not fumbling with the map quest.
My favorite thing about the limo is that we got to ride in a hot tub that's in the limo
Yeah.
on the way over here. So it was nice to take a
that's
hot
great.
tub on the way
Yeah.
here, so we're nice and relaxed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Haven't had the limo ride yet.
Yeah.
But
We'll
still.
get you in.
Yeah.
We'll get you in there.
So engagement letters. Why should I care? Engagement letters. Dawn?
Well, really the engagement letter process is important. I think what it does is it establishes right from the beginning the understanding between yourself, the firm, and the client, so that they know exactly what your responsibility is as the consultant, as the accountant, as the CPA, as the bookkeeper, whatever you are.
Right.
It breaks down, should be very clear and broke out as to who's responsible for what. And I have found that and I've had an accounting firm long time ago, probably when I was 10, since I'm so young,
Right.
where I didn't use engagement letters. And it really wasn't until I joined the Pro Advisor program and they had the engagement letters, sample engagement letters in there.
Oh, nice.
That's when I started using them and understanding it. But then really started to dive into the real importance and what's really an engagement letter for. And I think that's the first point, is that it's really for that understanding between you and the client.
And it also doesn't just explain what you're going to do for the client, it also is it explains to the client what their responsibilities are as well.
Oh, nice.
So it helps them, because a lot of times they really don't know what's needed
Right.
to do to start the project or anything like that. So I've found that my clients think it's really helpful to get that, because then they know what the expectations that I have of them as well.
So it's kind of like an outline or prospectus
Yep.
of what you're going to do, but since you both sign it, is also a CYA factor
That's
to
right.
this too.
Both.
Yes.
It must be signed by both parties, or it's not an agreement.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, then it's just a one person said something, and
Right,
it's
exactly.
not, it's a hearsay thing, I suppose. I don't even know. I'm not an
Right.
attorney yet. That's one
Soon.
thing that I'm not today, is an attorney.
Right.
But I could be, maybe one day. But what I also,
I believe you could be.
what could be?
We got
could be.
we got her a badge, by the way.
Yeah, I
Oh,
do have a
yeah.
badge. I should wear the badge on one of the shows,
Okay.
but then I don't want to be impersonating anyone. We can
Well.
get all into that
Well,
type
no,
of thing.
you wouldn't be.
I wouldn't be.
You'd
be very clear.
like the accounting cop.
Yeah, and I just bought a Jeep Wrangler, 4-door, tinted windows, and I just kind of feel like the FBI.
And you can borrow those sunglasses that Woody has on the radio.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
They're
website.
it's hot. I'd be like
Chips.
Yeah.
I'd be like Chips. Yeah.
Would you be Ponch or John?
I think Ponch.
Right.
Yeah, because he's hardcore. I think.
I'll be the John to your Ponch.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
That's perfect. That's awkward. Anyway, we're gonna move on from that. We're gonna
Well, let
keep
me ask
going.
this. I
Yeah.
didn't know that you guys, there is an engagement letter template that's, as a pro advisor, you can access. So you guys
Right.
use that starting out, but is there a place you go? Have you evolved into different type of engagement letters, more complexity or
Yes.
what have you?
Yeah.
Yes. So I happen to work with and done some work with Jennifer Catrulia. There's
Okay.
anybody who's the master of
We know
engagement
Jennifer.
letters, Jennifer.
Yeah.
And it is part of her BMRG GAP program where she takes firms and helps them do exactly what you're
Right.
talking about, build up processes and build up those kind of things. And with it, and during that time, she provides a sample engagement letter
Right.
that she uses. Attorneys have read it, have gone through it word for word and, put their stamp
Okay.
of approval on it. I think that might be overkill for some. I don't know, not gonna give out legal advice, but
Right.
I know that certainly as a CPA, I have a lot more, liability
Oh,
out
yeah,
there
totally.
and exposure. So you wanna be really careful. At the same time, if you have a 10-page engagement letter and you're dealing with a sole proprietor, they're gonna be like, what? What
Yeah,
is
right,
this?
right.
I had one of the first ones I sent out, the client says, would you sign this? I said, if I was you, I would. But I'm me, and I am gonna sign
Right.
it, 'cause we're both
So
gonna
you
sign
have
it.
different shapes and sizes of engagement letters depending on
Right.
what the work you're doing?
Yeah.
Short form and a long form.
Yep, and I have different templates for what it is that I'm doing. So there might be a bookkeeping one, there might be a setup one, there might be, a cleanup one. There's just different templates that I can just plug in a little bit of
Yeah.
specifics for that
Perfect.
client. And then I don't know if Dawn does it, but I use an electronic signing. Do you
Yeah,
do e-signing?
e-sign.
Oh, nice.
I use EchoSign.
Yeah, I've heard of that
And I
one.
love it. So
We do that
and
with
it-
some of our tax stuff.
well, what I found is you can send it over, and a lot of times they take a long time getting it back to you if they have to scan it or whatever. And by using something like EchoSign or some sort of e-signing, you get it back so much faster, and you can start the
Awesome.
project. You can start working with the client a lot faster too.
And that's a
Right,
good
Dawn.
point, because so what we maximize in our firm is if we get, we get a new client opportunity, a new client call, and we need to put a proposal together. So we'll put the proposal together, and then we put in the engagement letter per the attached proposal. That has already outlined the project. So all the responsibilities of who's gonna do what we are gonna do, and then the engagement letter having
Right.
the legal situations of, confidentiality and, 30-day notice. But the other thing that I think is really important that goes along with the engagement letter, and this turns into one big package for them, the proposal, the engagement letter, and then how the heck are they gonna pay you?
Right,
So
exactly.
you put tag right onto that thing. Maybe you take a deposit up front.
Yeah, right.
I most of the time do, or
Sure.
I had a client a week and a half ago said, well, if you're gonna come out for the whole day, I'm just gonna send you a check now. He was like, I'm just gonna send you a check.
Awesome.
He sent me an $1,800 check. He goes, here you go, Brolin, $1,800 check.
Oh, yeah.
Hope to see you next week.
Nice.
Because I sent you
That's
money.
awesome.
But
Hope to see you.
Again,
Hoping to see you.
hope to see you. That engagement letter sets the tone of the engagement.
Yeah.
We try to teach this on the radio all the time. Teach your clients how to work with you,
Yep.
not the other
Exactly.
way around. And I think that's probably a really big problem out in business in general, not
bet,
accountants,
totally.
not
That is it.
QuickBooks consultants only, just in general that, it's we laugh on the show about going to Walmart. You don't pack up a whole bunch of bags and say, hey
Right.
guys, I get paid Friday, I'll be back and I'll pay you then.
Right,
You don't do
right,
that.
exactly.
Send me an invoice.
Send me an invoice. Why
Right.
are
Net
we
45,
any
please.
different?
Exactly.
And so that engagement letter again, setting that tone, expectations are set up front. This is how it's going to roll,
And I bet it's comforting for your
it
client.
is. And if
Right?
they don't,
like a
if they're like,
blanket.
Yeah, security
no,
blanket.
this is
Fuzzy
no
blanket.
good, then it's probably not an engagement you want to take
Exactly. Yeah.
So, in the overall theme here, growing your practice. Both of you guys have grown. You've added Mia. You guys are rocking up there in Michigan.
Yeah.
And Don, you've added Richard Roppa. Let's have Richard come up because he does a lot of your engagement letters
does.
and
That's
get
right.
his take on it. So,
Yeah.
Richard, if you want to come on up.
Out
and,
of the audience, out of the
sit-
crowd.
Yeah. Our studio, our live
crowd.
studio audience.
If you don't mind moving your,
Okay, that's great. Welcome, Richard.
Thank you. So please park it here next to us, and thanks a lot for joining us. I'd like to welcome to the Radio Free QuickBooks listener audience Richard Roppa from Houston, working with Don for almost a year now, or
Nope,
6 months?
just a couple months.
Couple
few
months?
months.
So, Richard, go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience, and we'll break down engagement letters.
Sure. So I've been in the QuickBooks consulting arena for about 5 years. I've probably hit every aspect and every avenue of it, from small clients to large Fortune 100 companies.
Nice.
So all across the board.
And you're based down in Houston?
I'm based out of Houston,
So
yes.
easy drive up yesterday?
It was. It was about 4.5 hours.
Very good. Very cool.
Nice.
And that's the limo I was talking about.
Right,
by the way.
right.
So there
The
you
terrazzo,
are.
the hot tub.
Yeah,
So-
I picked Stacy and Dawn up this morning, so.
And you're kind of the operations production manager for Don's
I do. The
firm.
way I look at it is pretty much anything that is non-billable so that Dawn can stay out in the field and do her craft.
Right, and do her thing as one of
Exactly.
the top 20 most important women in accounting. Powerful. Both
Powerful.
Stacy and Don, by the way,
Powerful
we're sitting
women, yeah.
next to two of them. Very good. So engagement letters, you probably do most of them. Then,
I do.
for the firm, right?
I do.
So can you break down kind of like intro, body, conclusion, kind of what do they do
So-
in your mind?
Absolutely. So, I'm going to say, I've heard you guys talking about engagement letters, and there's not a lot to add. What you guys have said really does lay it out. It spells out the legal framework,
Right.
but also it spells out the framework that the sales guy and the client have
Yeah.
talked about. So there's no miscommunication going on.
Nice.
The client that Dawn was talking about that sent in that $1,800
Right,
check,
right.
it was after he and I had talked, and we had spoken about how we get paid, and he said, "Oh, well, I don't want to do it that way. I'd rather send you." Not a problem. I'll be
Oh,
happy
gotcha.
to take a
So you build
check.
it into that letter.
Let me get an invoice out to you right now. Built it into the letter. All of it's right in there. So he's now basically going on a retainer scenario
Right,
where he's
right.
paying up front and ahead of time,
Nice.
as opposed to being paid like at a doctor's office.
Right, exactly.
Right
No,
after
that's great.
services, right.
So really that, after you initially consult with them, then when does it come into play? Like if someone hasn't, like Dawn, you started out, you didn't use them at all. So you
Right.
became a pro advisor.
That's right.
So there are probably thousands that aren't doing it. So when
Right.
does the engagement letter come into play?
So I'm actually somebody that, until I came to Dawn's firm, didn't use an engagement letter on a regular
Oh.
basis. So engagement letters are relatively new to me, and I love them. Absolutely love them. They spell it out. You were asking about, what's in the body,
Right,
what's
right,
in
yeah,
It starts off with, here's an understanding of what we've talked about. Here's what we are going to do. Here's what you are going to do.
Nice.
And then we break down all the terms after that.
Very cool.
Here's how you're going to pay, here's how we're going to bill, here is all of the other legal stuff that needs to be talked about,
Yeah.
that we all need to know and have ourselves protected by.
And one thing that I want to point out is if you're a pro advisor, you can go to proadvisor.intuit.com and you can go to My Pro Advisor, log into the Practice Resource Center, and then you can actually, once you're in there, you're going to click on Practice Resources, and you'll go to the Client Onboarding box. And if you scroll down, there's right there on the screen, there are a bunch of sample engagement letters, and this is a really nice kind of jumping off point that you can use to customize them. They're all Word docs, and you can download them and edit them as you need to.
Put your logo on them, all
Yep.
the rest of it.
Put your logo
So
on,
I would-
is that the template you use and you guys expand on it, or? is
It's
there-
not, well, actually, I don't know if that's where
No.
it started.
Catrulia.
Okay.
Yeah, we're using one from Jennifer Catrulia, and I've definitely made some changes. Dawn has definitely made some changes
Right.
because we've tailored it for
Right.
the firm. I would like to also mention, we do have a short form and a long
Yeah,
form,
yeah.
and that the short form is for hi, I just need a couple hours of training.
Right.
I'm not going to overwhelm them with a
Right,
5-page
yeah.
document
Right.
that's going to outline all of our
Yeah.
responsibilities and their responsibilities. We're going to show up, we're going to train them,
Right, right.
and they're going to pay us. And that's kind of
Nice.
what the short form says. The long form, on the other hand, is for longer engagements where
yeah.
we're doing
Larger
an
companies,
ongoing,
different stuff
yeah,
that
we're
you're
doing an
doing.
ongoing engagement of accounting, et cetera. And we'll spell all that out, and we spell out exactly what they're going to be responsible for. 'Cause
That's
there's
awesome.
nothing worse than having somebody come back like Dawn from a client and go, they didn't have this ready, they didn't have this ready, they didn't have this ready.
Yeah.
It's all spelled out for
So,
'em.
so you guys don't leave the house until the engagement letter's signed. I mean, and that's a figure of speech, right?
Absolutely.
And if someone was out there starting their business, as you guys did, and not using an engagement letter, they would be compromised and vulnerable, would you argue?
I would agree.
Yeah, and I just think it's hard, again, it's, as you learn over time, and I learned from having my face beat in, basically.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I look younger, because I had to redo my face. That's part of the reason, but you get beat up, and you know, there was a misunderstanding, something didn't happen, or you didn't get paid, or you couldn't get paid.
Yeah.
Gone are the days of receivables, we've talked about that before, and that's the way I truly believe that the receivables should be no longer.
Okay.
You know,
right.
If I can add to something
Please.
that Dawn just said, you know, I've seen lots of engagement letters from a lot of firms.
Yeah.
The worst ones are the ones where somebody has beaten up the consultant. So they add something else into that engagement letter. And it's just this jumbled mess of paragraph after paragraph that has no rhyme or reason, where
Right.
I'm protecting myself against this thing that happened once in 10 years, and I'm going to protect myself against this other thing.
Yeah.
So kind of have a rhyme or reason to it. Make it make sense to the client. Make it flow.
Yeah, and I like that you have the templates already ready to go, and it's so ingrained in your guys' both process. So Mia does yours pretty much, probably? Or you still do some?
I haven't had her do an engagement letter yet, so
Okay.
she's only been with me for a couple months.
Right.
Usually I just put it together, so.
Well, it's exciting, you guys, both your practices are growing. You know, the radio show's, you know, rolling along. Again, we do appreciate you guys listening very much, so hopefully it's helpful. But this is a great example of growing your practice and
Right.
engagement letters. Richard, thank you for coming up and weighing in, because you're
Absolutely.
actually writing them, so
So
that's
just
key.
one quick other
Yeah,
little
please,
thing.
Dawn.
When you have, we have a couple other team
Yeah.
members that work with us, Christine and Wendy.
Nice.
It's easy for them because they know the process. The process is get the information, get the person to Richard, get the engagement letter out. Everybody knows the process
Awesome.
of how to start with a new client,
Yeah.
which is, again, critical if you're growing a team.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, again, Richard, thanks for coming on. This is fun topic, engagement letters, growing your practice. Thanks for watching. And 3, 2, 1, hold the shot. And Jennifer, thank you. That's the last time we'll probably have a New York Yankee fan on the show, though, technically. Hold the shot.
Thanks for watching this episode of RFQ-TV. For more episodes of RFQ-TV, you can check out intuitacademy.com. Also, don't forget to follow us on Twitter, and if you'd like to continue the discussions, you can find us on LinkedIn.